Do you guys have any questions?
No, I'm just so happy to hear that Jake is doing well.
He is. He's improved so much, so I really appreciate you coming by.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Have a good day.
You too. It's amazing what can be accomplished when the parents and I can work together to really help the kids do well in school. Parents, teachers, the community, we're a partnership. The one that knows your kids and values best. Unfortunately, some people are more concerned about their own agenda than about your children. People who wish that my instructions came from Washington, D.C. instead of from you. Because things always go so smoothly once you get Washington involved. Why this push for federal control? Some of the groups pushing for it have a political agenda they want to push in schools. And they know that federal money in politics will help them overcome opposition from parents or school boards. Some of them stand to make a lot of money off of it. And some just honestly believe that they're helping. But I can tell you, as a teacher, I'm worried. In the past few years, the Obama administration has been using stimulus money to create a huge carrot and stick education initiative called Race to the Top. There's all sorts of political nonsense involved in this, but let me sum it up for you. The federal government gives selected states billions of dollars for education, so long as they implement the core common standards, a program developed by the National Governors Association, a private political group. In addition, the reauthorization of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, you might know it as No Child Left Behind, will include even more radical changes to our education program. Notice a lot of acronyms and government bodies, but no parents or voters? Exactly. We've got big education money, big education groups, politicians, federal agencies, unelected government bodies, and so on, deciding they will coerce states into following a new national education program. Think of it as Obamacare for schools. Now, the bureaucrats and special interest groups will be calling the shots, not the parents and local communities. And we're not even getting a public debate on it. And good luck counting on our representatives in Congress to raise the issue, since Republicans and Democrats alike just shut up and throw money at pretty much every education initiative that comes around the block. Even if this was a fantastic program, we should be demanding more debate and accountability, and more respect for the rights of parents to have a say in their children's education. And this isn't a fantastic program. Did you know that they're replacing our American education philosophy of citizenship, individuality, and unlimited potential with a European approach that sees us all as cogs in a state machine? I'm talking about education systems where the government decides what trades or professions a particular student can pursue. It delays development of students' basic arithmetical skills until grade 5, 2 years behind their peers in high-achieving countries, and relies on an approach to geometry that Russia tried and discarded 25 years ago. And say goodbye to English literature as you and your parents and their parents studied it. 70% of the English curriculum is not based on literature, but on informational texts. Could there be a better metaphor for the way they're discarding real learning? Of course, implementation will cost the states hundreds of billions of dollars. No need to guess where they're going to go for those extra funds. Most worrying of all is that this is a perfect vehicle for pushing bias and indoctrination into the schools. We all saw what happened when Iowa tried to create its own core curriculum based on these principles, a highly politicized curriculum that repeatedly violated parents' rights and traditional values. There were history classes that focused on what's wrong with America and not what's right about it, and science classes that injected radical environmentalism into every possible subject and tried to make an Al Gore movie required watching. Already I've seen suggestions and plans and lesson ideas that make me uncomfortable. And that's just with the sex ed programs that feel too much like sex instruction. You've heard about them, where you have to teach kids to put condoms on bananas or start talking or singing about sex to kindergartners. And then there are the anti-bullying programs that go beyond teaching the kids about respect and have us telling kids their parents' politics or religious beliefs are wrong. You see, when these programs are handed down, parents often don't know the extent of what they teach. And trust me, this is not the sex education or anti-bullying stuff you learned when you were in school. Groups like Planned Parenthood figured out how to get their agenda into these programs a long, long time ago. And of course, the special interest groups involved are hoping that they'll be able to succeed by stealth, that voters won't even notice another radical multi-billion-dollar federal program. But if we don't want to see our teachers and schools handcuffed by an education system run by D.C. bureaucrats, politicians, and special interest groups, then we need to act. Spread the word, raise the issue with other parents and concerned voters, and urge them to do so as well. Let candidates for political office, from president right on down to the local school board, know about your concerns and ask them to oppose these changes. Don't let them slide away with a speech about the children or raising test scores. Ask them whether they support federal efforts to implement the Common Core standards using stimulus funds and other federal dollars. Whether they're aware that the standards have been criticized for being vague, weak, undemocratic, and an infringement on community-based education and states' rights. How will they protect our children's innocence against sex ed classes that offer sex instruction and biased curriculums that tell children what's wrong with their family's religious or political beliefs? What they will do to preserve parents' rights and oppose a federal takeover of education. And any other questions that will help them see that you know what's coming and need real answers. Visit our website at www.preserveinnocence.org and look into becoming part of the movement. We're working to create a national coalition to oppose the federal takeover of education, and we want you to be a part of it. In politics, people like to connect everything to being for our children's future. But now, when it really is, they don't want to talk about it. Let's make them do so.